Okay, we're going to be talking about the Second Amendment. We're going to try to explain what it's all about. There's actually two parts of the Second Amendment. The first part, and we have it numbered here, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. And part two says, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And then we're going to be looking at the key words of the Second Amendment in part one, where it says a well, where it says well. Well, well means proper, satisfactory with respect to conduct or action. Okay, you can understand that better by defining what that word well means. Regulated. Regulate means to organize. It basically means organized. So a proper or satisfactory to respect of conduct or action organized militia, when you go to the militia part, basically militia means the people's army or anything outside of the, like, for example, the U.S. military. So it could be like groups like, even groups that you may not approve of, groups like any of the 1% groups or 3% groups, or there's half a dozen type of militia type groups. Basically the people's militia. You know, there's organized crime. They got their own little militias, and you got the 1%, you got the Hells Angels, the Outlaws. They have their own form of what you call armed militias, and that's basically what they are. Some of them are criminal organizations, some of them are not criminal organizations, depending on what type of militia you're talking about. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. These organizations wouldn't exist. Now, the other part right here where it says, being necessary to the security of a free state. Now, to the security of a free state, that's, people understand that. So that we'll have freedom, you have to have this militia. Well, the part where it says necessary. Necessary means absolutely required. So when you read the Second Amendment, it says a proper organized militia or a people's army, okay, of some form or fashion, being necessary or absolutely required to the security of a free state. So let's read this one more time. A proper, okay, organized people's army being absolutely required to the security of a free state. Now you understand what the first part means. Then the second part means, we're going to read this off, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. We understand what it says, the right of the people. It's not a privilege, it's a right. It's a God-given right. Okay? The right of the people to keep and bear arms, be any kind of weapons, any kind of guns, crossbows, rifles, handguns, whatever, shall not be infringed. The definition of infringe means limit the rights of. Put restrictions, like putting restrictions like red flag laws, felony status laws. We're going to go into that a little bit right now. Let's just say someone goes out and kills people, is a serial killer. Now, there have been serial killers that they have actually released from prison. Or they might have rapists. I think rapists, they give them a felony and they say, well, they can't carry a gun for the rest of their life because they're a felon. Now, I think that people, when they're released from prison, their debt should be paid. But I don't think a rapist's debt should be paid. I think they should either spend the rest of their life in prison or executed. A serial killer should be executed or spend the rest of their life in prison. When they're in prison or jail, their Second Amendment rights are suspended. That's the only exception. That would be the only exception I can see that your Second Amendment rights would be restricted if you're in jail or prison. But if you paid your debt to society, okay, you're released from jail or prison, okay, then you should have the right to bear arms. No exceptions. So, first of all, they should not release all these people who they think are dangerous. If you're so dangerous that you can't be trusted with a gun, if you were that dangerous, you think a felon is going to stop, is not going to try to get a gun, either legally or illegally? They're going to try to get a gun, no matter what. So you can slap anything you want to on them, a red flag law or felony status law, they're still going to try to obtain a gun. So, in the way I look at it, if you paid your debt to society, you're released from prison. The way I look at it, you paid your debt to society. And if you were so dangerous, then you should be locked up or executed. And they tried to alter the meaning of the Second Amendment. The government tries to. They say it's a privilege. It's not a privilege. The only time that it would be a privilege if they take your rights away from you if you're in prison or jail. Other than that, it shall not be infringed. I don't understand why people don't understand that part.